So today we're going to be talking about stunts and all the equipment you would need to pull them off.
3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Mike here from Envy Creative. So when we started building out our studio, and I knew that I wanted to build a pretty basic stunt rigging system in the studio, and after hours and hours of searching, I really didn't find any place that gave you a step-by-step guide on the equipment that you needed to be able to build a basic stunt rig. Now, there are plenty of places online like Action Factory and other sites that will sell stunt rigging equipment, but they don't tell you how to put it together and they don't tell you what needs to go with what. And so once we were all done making our stunt rig, I wanted to share my findings with you guys so that if you're looking to get into stunts, you kind of know where to start and what to get. Now, before we get into anything, I do have to say that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do stuff at your own risk. Please be safe, because with filmmaking and with stunts, the #1 rule is to be safe. Myself, my crew, my actors, we're all trained professionals, so if you decide that you want to buy any of these and do your own stunt rigging, then please be aware of the risks possibly involved and please be safe. So when I was looking around to try to find the items that I needed to be able to build a basic stunt rig, like I said, I couldn't find anywhere that went step by step to show you what things you needed, where they go, how to set them up. Now, there are plenty of videos out there of people actually doing stunts and maybe even teaching you how to do stunts correctly, but like I said, I couldn't find any that showed you the materials and the items needed, as well as how to hook them up and make them work together to be able to do stunts. I even asked some other colleagues of mine if they knew anybody to help me with my search and with all the items that I needed, and they pretty much told me that in the film industry, it's kind of a need-to-know thing where stunt coordinators pass along the information to stunt riggers, and basically everybody is just kind of in this closed circle, which I get, but at the same time, it's really good to just have the information out there, because if they don't know about it and can't get started in it, then they might not realize it's one of their passions just by them not knowing. So pretty much I had to look at a lot of videos, I had to look at a lot of articles, and I had to read a lot and watch a lot to be able to piece things together to make it work just by looking, just by seeing what people are using, just by researching everything. And thankfully, I was able to do that over the course of hours and hours of research to be able to put together a list of items that you would need for a basic stunt rig. So the stunt rig that we sent up is in the ceiling and it's with a pulley system, and this allows us to do high jumps, high falls, and flying backwards and forwards. Again, this is for a basic stunt rig, which is what we have in the studio here since we're not doing really elaborate stunts, but it's a really good way to kickstart into doing more elaborate stunts. So the very first thing you're gonna need is some good sturdy rope, at least 2 pulleys, and what's called nylon loops. The ropes that we use are just these outdoor climbing ropes that we got on Amazon, as well as these vehicle tie-down loops that we got on Amazon as well. And the pulleys are made by a company called Rock Exotica, which makes a lot of climbing and rock climbing gear, but is also the industry standard for stunts and stunt pulleys. So now that you have your rope, your 2 pulleys, and your nylon loops, what you're going to do is you're going to use those nylon loops to attach your pulleys to your ceiling. Now, here at our studio, we have big trusses in the ceiling that we can attach our nylon loops to, but wherever you are, please make sure that wherever you're attaching the nylon loops to is very sturdy and can support your weight. So first we find the 2 places that we want both ropes to end. One of the places should be the place you're actually going to be doing the stunt, and the other end should be the place that you're going to be pulling the rope. Once you have those places, you're going to be attaching the nylon loop to the anchor point in the ceiling where you want. Once you have the nylon loop secured, then you're going to attach the pulleys to the nylon loops. And then you're going to run your rope through both of the pulleys so that it's hanging down on both ends. So now that you have a basic pulley system, you're going to need things on both ends to be able to attach people and gear to. For this, you want to use a really high strength carabiner, and again, we got them from Rock Exotica. So now you're going to attach those carabiners to both ends of your rope so that you can start attaching different things to both ends. On the end that people are going to be pulling up the talent, it's a good idea to have a very thick and sturdy rope with knots in it so people can easily pull and not lose grip when they're pulling. For this, we got a exercise rope on Amazon and just did a couple knots in it and attach it to the carabiner, and it works great. Above that rope in your normal rope, you also want to make some knots and some loops so that you can attach more carabiners with some weights on the end or some sandbags. So in case you need to do a more controlled lift or fall on the other end, you'll have those weights to be able to help you stabilize rather than just your own body strength. So now that you have the pulling end equipment set up, now we can go to the other end where the talent is going to be. So when it comes to the talent, you can get a couple things, but the very first thing we'd recommend is getting what's called a jerk vest or a full body harness. Now what this is a harness that covers the full chest as well as 2 stirrups that go around the thighs. And why it's called a jerk vest is because there are a lot of different points of contact that you can put a carabiner through so that you can lift them and jerk them around in different ways and in different directions. They do have other more low profile harnesses, which we have a couple of, but we definitely started with the jerk vest so that we could get an idea of how to balance the actors and the best way to lift and pull the actors before we got them a more low profile harness, which takes a little bit more know-how. Now, when you're going to be filming with somebody with a jerk vest, it is pretty bulky, so a good idea to do when filming is to have the talent have 2 of the same shirts, 1 normal fitting and 1 extra large. This is so when you're filming without the harness, it looks like they're wearing their normal shirt, and then when they're filming with the harness, you can put the extra large shirt of the same kind over the harness so that you can switch between the shots pretty easily without the audience realizing that they're wearing a harness or a larger shirt, since it's mostly for very quick shots. Now that we have the basic items out of the way, let's get into a couple of the more advanced items to get a little more advanced with the stunts that you're going to be doing. Now, if you've ever seen somebody on the ground get kicked or in the air get punched and they twirl around, this is because they not only use the rope to pull them, but they also use what's called a daisy chain. So what you do with a safety daisy chain is you wrap it around the actor so that the rope isn't wrapping around them, which could harm them. And then as soon as they get kicked or hit, when you pull them, it makes them flip or spin so that it looks like they're flying through the air spinning. Again, we just picked one of these up on Amazon, and a lot of this equipment is readily available, but again, up until now, we really haven't seen any videos or articles or anything online that clearly lays out what goes into a stunt rigging system and how to put it all together. So now that I told you about all the rigging equipment, now comes the safety for the actors. Now we have a couple safety items that are essential that we make our actors use on every stunt no matter what, and that is a back pad and back brace, and also a tailbone and thigh pads girdle for them to wear. When doing stunts, protecting your back and your tailbone are really important, since a lot of the time when actors are flying through the air or they come down from a fall, it's instinctual to land on your butt if they need to do a retake if we yell cut in the middle. The other things you definitely need to pick up for the stunt rig is some crash pads. Now we actually have 3 crash pads here at the studio. We have a smaller one that's meant for small falls, landings, and rehearsals, and we also have larger ones. One is more of a giant pillow that's a lot more affordable to use, but the thing with that is that it doesn't bottom out, which means that if you fall all the way through, it will hit the floor. So we just recommend putting, say, even the smaller crash pad underneath it. We also do have a much larger and more professional crash pad that we use for large falls and large stunts, but unless you're already doing this as a profession, these are way out of budget for normal people just starting out and learning. Safety is the most important thing, so you want to make sure that you're being safe as well as your actors. And for the crew, when we're pulling the rope for the actors, we all wear gloves because your hands can actually get burnt from the rope if you let it slip through your hands or if you're just holding on too tight. Plus, it provides the extra grip that you need to make sure that you don't drop the actor. Another thing you might want to get if you're planning on doing pulls from the side is called a ring carabiner. It's called other things too, but basically it's just a ring loop that you can attach to your harness so that it moves around a little bit more than a normal carabiner if you need that versatility. Before we keep going, guys, we put a lot of time and effort into all these videos that we do to try to give you guys the best insight and information possible. So if you found value from this video, feel free to give it a like, like. And if you have any questions about what we're ever talking about, always feel free to leave a comment. And if you want to see more videos, definitely subscribe so that you can get more videos as they come out. We also post on our Instagram every day with behind the scenes of what we do here at the studio. So if you're interested in seeing behind the scenes of what we do, feel free to follow us. Now, I didn't really go through how to perform the stunts because over the course of the years, we've really just honed how to do the different stunts by trial and error and doing rehearsals. When we first started out, the stunts didn't look that great. It took a lot of rehearsal time and a lot of different trial and error before we got it right. But now we're able to clip in actors and do it pretty much the first or second time. But that's really something you kind of need to lean into and do yourself if you decide you want to try out this stunt rigging. And just remember to be safe if you're going to be trying it. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next one.